Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of Cheap EVs in the Northeast. This time I'm going to filter by manufacturer and hopefully that'll help cut out all these national chains that sort of cheapen themselves through the Auto Trader list to get themselves into the search screens and all that sort of thing, bump themselves up the list, etc. So the first one we're going to look at is one that we've not covered before on these videos. It's the Audi e-tron. It was quite an expensive car to begin with. It was one of the classics for business leases. You saw a lot of them on the NHS lease schemes, etc. Very popular new car back in 2019, 2020, sold a lot of them, but they're struggling for sales now as their smaller SUVs have sort of cannibalized sales with the Q4 e-tron and the Q6 now. And actually there's been talk of closing the factory in Belgium that makes these. And I think they've launched an updated Q8 as well. So this is the old school Audi e-tron. And you can see from £18,000 you can get a few. Some have 40,000 miles, some 70, some 50. And there's various different specs. These are all the 50 Technic Quattros, but they're worth 45. So let's see. We've got a full range of anything else, and there's different years from 2019 to 2021s, or even a brand new one. So they're kind of like a £70,000 car new, if not more. Especially if you're getting extra tech packs and sunroofs, etc. A lot of options there. So huge savings. You can get a £70,000 car for less than 20 grand. So that's one of the steals of the Audi. Citroens, these might be nearly new. Let's see what we've got. We've got a 2023 EC4. I've heard good things about these things from people. We've covered them before because you can get them at lower price points with when they're a bit less new, etc. But quite a nice looking car with a reasonable size boot and reasonable size rear. And it looks like a good spec with nice leather seats and all that sort of thing. So that's the Citroen EC4. Let's see what else Citroen are offering at this price point. Mostly that. You can get a Space Tourer, but if you're getting bigger vans with only a 50 kilowatt hour battery, you're limiting what you're going to get on range. So there's that to bear in mind. And there's the brand new EC3, which I've covered as well. A, on salary sacrifice and leasing, etc. And B, through cheaper price points as well. I did a new car review. So what else are we going to get from someone else? So who's next on the list? Cupra. There's only one Cupra born. But this is a 2-year-old car, 26,000 miles. It's the smallest battery range. Oh no, in the medium. They did a 45 for a while. And it's a V1, so it's the lowest spec inside. So that's the only one available from Car Supermarket. So this is a cheat. This is not really in the Northeast, but perhaps they will put it on a trailer up to come to the local Car Supermarket. Looks quite good, really. Nice size boot. The ID3, which this is based on, it was quite good when I test drove it. I really liked it. But got some bad reviews for touchscreen buttons and all this capacitive touch stuff. But actually, as a basic EV, it was really good. What have we got next then? So moving on to the Dacia. So they only make the Dacia Spring, so these will be brand new because it's fairly new to the market. But yeah, you can get a 27 kilowatt hour range, so 330, about 90 mile range, if not 120 in the summer. Maybe you'd even get, I'm testing my maths here, aren't we? So maybe even 150 if you're getting 5 kilowatt hours. So if you're driving slowly, you could get 150 miles out of this. If you're driving on the motorway, then you're looking at more like 90, I would have thought. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that there are lower price point entry cars, but as a result, they're limiting how much battery they're going to give to you. DS, this will be similar. The E1050, this will be the DS3. This will be similar to the EC4, etc., etc. They're all basically the same car on the platform as the Mocha. It does the Corsa and on the E208, but this is the Diamond car. And if you want to look up Mr. EV. If you want to look up Andrew Till on YouTube, Mr. EV, he did a great review of the DS3. I seem to remember he rented one for a month or something when one of the subscription models was open. Fiat have quite a few up, so these are all going to be 500Es. You can get the bigger battery range. I think we've covered them at lower price points as well in this series. And so these are just be newer ones with less miles, 15,000 miles, 20,000 miles, one owner. So these are people who've they've gone back after a short lease after 2 years. But there's quite a few there, isn't there? And you can get different colours, etc. Some are in Bishop, some are in Newcastle, some are just scamming the algorithm, like Car 360, and they're miles away, and probably these as well. I don't know where Mike Brewer is. Maybe we'll look it up. But there's some in Ashington too. So if you're interested in a Fiat 500e as a small little runabout car, then that's available. Honda made the Honda E. I don't know if we've covered this, but yeah, this got amazing reviews. Everyone was really positive about the Honda E, apart from its range, because again, it's a 30 kilowatt hour battery, so you're getting limited range. So you're getting a 90 to 150 miles at most. But it's a really funky little looking car, very well received. But it's tiny, it's absolutely tiny, which is great if you want a small car. Lots of single people this would be very useful for. So it's getting 4 miles a kilowatt hour here, so that's not bad, is it? And it's, look at this wood interior. This sort of harks back to a bygone age when you used to get those in like MG Rovers and stuff like that. Or all posh cars had one. But yeah, it looks really nice. Only 2 seats in the back, so it's a 4-seater car. Looks really good. So let me know if that's interesting to you. That's certainly a different one. Honda do make another new car. They make the Anyone, but that's a bit different. But look, you can get a brand new Anyone for £26,000. So this is now, it's not in the sub £20,000, but they're discounting that heavily. I think they were trying to get up to like 48 grand for these new. It's a reasonable size battery. It's quite big, but they certainly didn't fly off the market. So there's you can pick up bargains there. That's quite heavy discounting. Now, as you would expect, there's loads of Konas because this was one of the classics for sale in 2020. It's a 70 plate reg, just like mine, a 64 kilowatt hour battery, £15,000. When I bought mine out a year ago, I bought it out for a balloon price of around 17,000. So not much depreciation in that time. So that is good. So yeah, through use of it about a year, you've lost about 2 grand off that. That's not bad, is it? Can't complain about that. And there's loads of different examples, all about the same sort of price. So that must be where the market is for the Kona at the moment. Here's a 2021 model, a facelift model, much better headlights. If you were going to look at a Kona, my advice to you would be, if you're getting the original, the OG style Kona, to make sure that you have got the LED headlights, because the ones that I have are dreadful. And so these are the projectile bulbs, so these will be the premiums. Premium SE should have LEDs actually, but just Premium has not LEDs, has halogens, and they're not very good. So I think that's not a Premium SE. Whereas this one that my brother's got, I've got LEDs and they're fantastic. They're really, really good. I think that makes a huge difference. Ooh, but you can get an Ioniq 5 for 2021. It's done 110,000 miles. That'll be why. But yeah, if you really want to, where is Amin Motors? Let's check that they're not taking the Michael and cheating the algorithm. But yeah, really great. 248 miles. So yeah, they're just cheating the algorithm. Cheeky monkeys. Right, well, we won't include that one. But loads of other Honda Konas. And make sure when you're looking that you've seen the battery sizes. So this one's a 64 kilowatt hour one, but someone's trying to get the same price for a 39. So much smaller range. I'm sure it's a bit more efficient because it'll be a lot lighter. The battery pack will be 2/3 of the size, so you'll cut a lot of weight out. But you're cutting a lot of range out as well, aren't you? So that'll be the problem there. But if you're only doing small mileage, then that's not so bad. And this car's barely did anything over a year. So these cinch ones, these won't really exist locally. They'll be just, we can ship them up to Newcastle. So it's a bit cheeky, really. So there's far more of these than actually exist. So Volk R6 360, yeah, they're just sort of cheating me, really, aren't they? They knew about my videos and they decided to beat the algorithm and get them mentioned. Jaguar. So Jaguar have gone through an interesting redevelopment. They don't actually have any cars to sell. They're not currently selling this one. They didn't make it themselves anyway. This one's made in Austria by a company that I can't quite recall the name of. I'll put it in the thing now. What time are we on? 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. I'll remind myself to do that. But yeah, rave reviews. It's kind of like a coupe SUV. It is good looking. These were sort of £60,000 new, and you can get them from £17,000. They put a lot of miles on, but that would put you off a petrol car because the piston's worn out. Blah 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 blah. Are you going to have to get the engine retuned? Do you need a new clutch? Do you need spark plugs and oil changes and all that kind of jazz? But this one's actually in physical Durham, so this one actually exists, which is great. But on EVs, it's less of a problem. People worry about batteries, but now mine's on 50,000 miles with a battery reporting it's at 98 state of health. I don't think you need to worry about these. If someone's left it at 100% for 4 years, the battery is going to be a bit pagged. But the way that people use them means that it's really not much of a problem. So let's have a look. We've not covered the I-Pace, have we? At all. Magna is who make them. Finally remembered. Nice leather interior, great pan roof. Giles Corran had one of these, so he's the famous, let's call it Times or Spectator writer or Telegraph columnist who was forever running out of charge in his I-Pace because he couldn't realise that driving on the motorway is going to use your range up more than driving at 20, taking the kids to school. This was apparently a big shock to him. And so he wrote a big column about how the I-Pace was forever breaking down on him. So there's a lot of reliability issues with these cars. So have a good look into that before you stump up for one. But yeah, they're very good looking things, and you get a lot of brand kudos getting a Jag, and you can't actually physically buy any Jags at the moment, although they're about to launch a new electric one. They're going all electric, so they say. So what else is coming? So yeah, we've covered the Jags. Who is next? It's going to be Kia. Here we go. So the sister car to the Kona, the Nero, there's actual physical ones available in Bishop Auckland, in North Shields, in Newcastle. So that's all good. You're getting these 64 kilowatt hour ones. Now, the trim levels on the Nero are in 2s, 3s, and 4s. So have a look for those. So it's a 3 auto, meaning it's a 3. 4 auto means it's top of the range. So this is a good one. And look, are they a little bit more expensive than a Kona? No, they're about the same, aren't they? 15 grand for about that. Oh, and there's some Souls, a lovely funky looking car, a bit smaller than the Nero, less boots, even though it looks chunkier. It looks like it's bigger, but it's not. And so yeah, I would fully recommend these. Very good cars, get great reviews, great value for money, great range, can't knock them. Lexus do an EV. So this is the UX. It's got a big grille to match its normal UX designs, but it's filled in. This one's not done many miles. You can get it for just a smidge under 20 grand. But a 54 kilowatt hour battery in a fairly big SUV might not have the best range. But you can get these in Shimar. So this Arnold Clark is where I'm getting my car MOT'd because I want that app and I want to show you guys how the Arnold Clark app works for their charging system, because you can book chargers. So that's going to be interesting. Look out for that on the channel. Mazda made this thing. So this is the MX-30, and it's very nice inside. Again, Andrew Till had one of these. I think he rented it through one of the subscription things for a while, or he got a review. Mr. EV, have a look up. We're at 15 minutes. I'll try and remember that and pop a link up to his video here. They're very good looking things, but they're just very limited on the range. I think it's only got a 30 kilowatt hour battery, and they decided, a bit like the i3, the BMW i3, to put in one of these weird doors for some reason. Rather than having a normal door, they've done this opening the other way. Who knows, to be quirky. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a nice interior. It's very good standard and things, but they only put a 30 kilowatt hour battery. And then the new ones, so this one, will be a Rex as well for some reason. So they made an EV, they put in a too small battery, and then no one bought it. So they decided, oh, people don't want EVs, let's make a Rex. And a Rex would be a range extender. So you can put petrol in it, but your petrol engine only ever generates charge for your battery. And then you've only got an electric motor, so your petrol engine is not actually attached mechanically to the wheels. But yeah, weird. Don't understand it. So 35 kilowatt hour battery. You'll have a bit of buffer top and bottom. So yeah, again, you're getting 100 miles, 150 miles max. I would say, as my estimates. But please do, yeah, if you're interested in it, please do look on EV Database, because they'll have ranges for cold weather, hot weather, slow driving, fast driving, and it's really accurate for my car, the Kona, so I imagine it's really accurate for a lot of them, and it tends to fit in with what real world figures that people put on Facebook groups and things. Moving on to the MG, we've covered a few of these before. There's loads of MG4s. This is the smallest battery size, but you're getting really long trophy long range MG ZSs that we've covered. So this might just be, there's a bigger battery size than you can get before in the sub 15 grand market. You're getting 64 kilowatt hour SE long range. This, after only 2 years old, only done 7,000 miles, that is an absolute bargain. Couldn't knock that. That's the same price, it's a little bit more than those Konas and Neros we're seeing, but it would be newer, we've done a lot less miles. They're very good. When I was in the Arnold Clark that do MG in Shimel, and they do BYD, I thought the BYDs were a bit nicer inside, but the MG4 I went in was the low spec range, whereas I was going in the design of the BYD Seagull and Atto 3 and Seal. So I was going in all the higher spec cars. But yeah, it looks fine, doesn't it? I think it really could do with a sunroof, because all the dark interiors and things, I don't know if they've got a light interior, but that's just my preferences. So you all have your own preferences. And so the great range, great charging, 130 kilowatts, so it's twice as fast. So this is one of the useful things on Auto Trader. I really recommend you look at this. But if you can put in what speed charger you're going to get to, so and it gives you one that's relevant to the peak charge. So the peak charge on these is 130 kilowatts from memory, and you can get up to 80% in 34 minutes. So that's really good. And you can fully charge at home in 10 hours if you're getting in at 0%. So you can do that overnight quite easily. So smashing. That's the MG4. What else they got? They got a few more ZSs, and will just be getting more expensive. But yeah, you've got a full range of the small batteries, the big batteries, etc. Oh, it looks really good in red as well. So have a look at that one. That one's in Sunderland, Evan Halshaw Renault. So yeah, it looks smashing. I wonder if someone traded that in for a Scenic. What have we got then? We're moving on to minis. So there'll be loads of minis. We've covered the minis before on the channel. There's a new model, so a lot of these will be going cheaper, etc. And we've covered them in the below the 15 grand. So these ones are just low mileage ones. That one they really didn't cover a lot, did they? But maybe they're just small commute. So in 3 years they've not done much miles at all. But they're really good looking cars. But yeah, 30 kilowatt hour battery, so 90 to 150 mile range, really not going to push the range, but drive like a go-kart. So very fun and very nice interiors. Nissans, we won't be getting any Arias for this price, so these will all be different Leafs. So this is the Leaf Plus. So if you see E Plus, that means it's a Leaf Plus. That means it's a 62 kilowatt hour battery, but usable might be 59, since that's what they're quoting. Only a year old, only done 7,000 miles, 20 grand Leaf. Pretty good. So most of the ones we've covered before will be these 39 kilowatt hours. It's an e-Tecna as well, so I think Tecna is their top spec, so I imagine it's quite nice inside. It'll have all the leather interiors. I did test drive a Leaf before we got the Kona, as well as a Model 3, and I just couldn't justify the price. At the time it was like 40 grand, the same as the Tesla Model 3, but it just wasn't as nice inside, really. I didn't really get excited about it. But I could have got a second-hand one for like 26 grand and saved myself loads of money. And the CHAdeMO is the thing that just makes driving around this a bit more difficult, because it's the only car that still has it. And it's been redeveloped and will be relaunched with CCS soon. And so if you charge it, it's got great range, you can go cross country, but then when you come to charge, a lot of the new places don't have any CHAdeMOs, so it's a bit of a shame. There is a company called Muxan in the Netherlands who sell kits to upgrade them to CCS and upgrade them to huge batteries. But this will be the top spec Leaf, top range Leaf. They're quoted to 239 miles as their real world range, or their WLTP figure. So yeah, there's a few of those going from 20 grand, or look, here's one that's a bit longer, 23,000 miles for 16 grand. So a few different options, and it's the Tecna as well. So there's the Nissans. Is there any Arias? Shall we have a look? I doubt the Arias have come quite into 20 grand yet, but we can have a wee look. No, all Leafs, and so yeah, you've got a few different versions. But yeah, I wouldn't be paying 20 grand for that one. Smashing. But yeah, an 18. Ooh, that's quite a nice red, isn't it? But it's an end connector, which is a lesser model. Right. So we're getting through this nicely. What are we on next? Peugeot. So we've covered the E2008, the E208 before. I doubt we get a 5008, but you're getting lots of different models. Beautiful bright yellow. Maybe we're going to get a 3008 in here as well, which is just that wee bit bigger than the 2008. But loads of models. Bishop Auckland, a lot of them up there. Let's see what we can find. And it's all these car supermarkets, really, yeah, which are cheating their way into the algorithm. No, are these actually in the northeast? I'm not sure they are. I think Carter, and that's another one that's not actually in the northeast. Durham. Here you go. You can get one in Durham. Durham Peugeot. So yeah, let's show you it a wee bit. See what there is to see. Yeah, nice seats, nice leather interior, lots of piano black if you don't mind fingerprints. Small screen. These things got a 50 kilowatt hour battery, so worst case scenario 150 miles, best case scenario 250. I would hazard a guess at, but please do check EV database. Nice, reasonable size boot, and it looks like it's in good condition. Cup holders and the like, and the drive selector is not silly. It's not a silly rotation thing, so I don't mind that too much. Looks okay. Haven't been in to try one actually. Haven't gone near one for a test drive. Maybe that's something I could do. You're getting a Polestar. You can get a single motor long range from 2021 that's done 65,000 miles. That's not too bad. And there's another one that just breaks over 20,000 miles. So that's a dual motor. So that's even it's got a lot more performance. So this is 300 horsepower, whereas that one's 400. It's done a bit less miles. But yeah. And that one's got a pan roof. I'm sure they're very good. Yeah, I haven't tried a Polestar 2 yet. I do fancy giving one a test drive. See if the boot's big enough, see if the rear space is getting a lot. I just think they're quite nice. I quite like saloon cars. I think it's calling itself a fastback SUV, but it looks like a saloon car to me. And it just looks like a normal Volvo nice car, really. You've got to be careful whether it's got a transmission tunnel, because the original models did, but the refresh hasn't. So I'm forgetting when the refresh was, whether it was in 2023. So yeah, this will be a 2021 car. So yeah, this one will have a transmission tunnel. But you hardly ever have 5 people in the car. So how important that is or not will depend on you. Skoda, these get great reviews. So these are the clones of the ID4 and ID5, the Enyaqs. And they're said to have great interiors. That the Volkswagen cars are all very good, but it was just the user interface that people give a bad rep for. But I'd love to try more of the ID4s and 5s and things, and just have an idea of what they're like. I'm not a huge fan of these looks. Why do they still look like combustion cars? Why do they have fake grills? I know mine does, but mine looks a bit dated as well. I think these look a bit dated. But I know friends who've got these and absolutely adore them. So perhaps I should just keep my mouth shut. But yeah, these are all national brands that will deliver to the northeast. But I'm not sure they're actually physically here now. So you couldn't turn up at Bishop Auckland and it actually be there, I would suspect. Yeah, these are all a bit cheeky. Oh, no, this one's at Nissan Newcastle. So yeah, for 18,500, you could buy this second-hand EV, which gets great reviews, has a great leather interior, and has some physical buttons for climate control rather than capacitive VW stuff, and has got a great big 500-litre boot. So it's a great family car, very practical. Yeah, smashing. How are we doing for time? Because my new screen recording software runs out at 30 minutes, so we better finish soon. So what else have we got? Let's have a look for the last ones to show. The SsangYong Teslas. Let's see what Teslas. I'm not sure we've had a Tesla Model 3 on in under £15,000, but they're all going to be high mileage ones, and this is a standard range. In 2021, this was the NMC battery, and it was a 50 kilowatt hour one, so the range will be smaller than the current new standard range Tesla Model 3, which is an LFP battery with 60 kilowatt hours. So check out what the range estimates on these are going to be. You can also get, if you want to check it, you can go into service mode in these Teslas and get them to tell you what the state of health of the battery is and things like that. Or you can ask the dealer to get a printout for it for you as well, or test it themselves, or get an approved third party to check it. There's a few different ones that you can do. But yeah, the classic EV. White is the free colour, so if you're getting special ones like the blue ones, they only paid £2,000 extra for the blue paint. And I think the red paint too, that was £2,000 as well. So you'll see a lot of white ones because that was the free one. But look out for any newer ones. I doubt we're going to see it. But yeah, there's a reason why these ones are more expensive. They paid £2,000 for that. But yeah, the range of these will be limited versus the new ones. But you get a supercharger network, you get great charging and cheaper charging. Although the charging network in the UK is ballooning and is getting much more reliable, it ain't cheap. And so actually natively being in Tesla and being routed to a Tesla supercharger for what can be half price charging versus other brands is absolutely fantastic. But we'll call that a day. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know anything else you'd want to have covered. We've done all the cheap segments. This is a nice medium segment car price. And so what else do you want to see on the channel? Is the audio a lot better? Now I think I'm selecting